Good morning, students. Today we are discussing about the popliteal fossa. See, this popliteal fossa is a diamond-shaped space behind the knee and becomes apparent as a depression in the flexed knee. See, when you are doing the dissection posterior to the knee joint, we can identify the depression behind the knee. When we flex the knee joint, we can identify the diamond-shaped space is there that is bounded by the like a above and medially semi-tendinous and semi-membranous muscles. How to identify this semi-tendinous and semi-membranous? So first, these two are present medially above. Semi-tendinous is off is the tendinous insertion, off is the musculature, and semi-membranous is above part is upper part is the semi-membranous sheet and lower part is the muscular. So semi-membranous semi-tendinous makes the medial boundary above, and laterally above is bounded by the tendon of the biceps femoris muscle. See, you are already seen biceps brachii muscle. Here biceps femoris muscle also present. It is formed by the forms the lateral above boundary of the popliteal fossa. Below and medially, it is bounded by the medial head of the gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius, and it is a calf muscle. It having the two heads are there. One is the middle head and lateral head. Middle head is bounded the below medial boundary, and lateral head is bounded the below and laterally. So lateral and middle boundary of the below, it is formed by the lateral head and middle head of the gastrocnemius, whereas the above medially and laterally bounded by the, that is medially by the semitendinous, semimembranous, lateral by the biceps femoris muscle. See this diagram. See here this is the medial side, this is a semitendinous muscle, and this is a semimembranous muscle is there. Semitendinous and semimembranous muscle is to form the above medial boundary, whereas the laterally it is bounded by the biceps femoris muscle. Biceps femoris muscle, it make a above lateral boundary, whereas the below medially and laterally bounded by the, this is the middle head of the gastrocnemius, this is the lateral head of the gastrocnemius. It is a bulky muscle present in the calf region. So, what are the floor muscles? What are the floor? How it is formed the floor of the popliteal fossa? See, mainly the from anterior wall, it is bounded by the popliteal surface of the femur. So, below we can identify the floor region, that is the popliteal surface of the femur. Next is the oblique popliteal ligament, posterior part of the upper end of the tibia and fascia covering the popliteus muscle. These are the structures form the floor of the popliteal fossa. This floor is pierced by middle geniculate vessels and middle geniculate nerves and its branches, and also posterior division of the optic nerve. This floor is pierced. Whereas the roof region, roof is formed by the strong popliteal fascia, which established continuous between the fascia lata and fascia crucialis. These two fascias are continuous from the thigh region, and this roof is pierced by the small saphenous vein and posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh. When you are doing the dissection of this roof of the popliteal fossa, we can identify below the skin, that is small saphenous vein, accompanied with, we can also finding the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh region. After remove this, we can finding the boundaries of the muscles, that is a medially, that is a semitendinous, semimembranous, laterally by the, that is the biceps femoris muscle, and below that is the lateral and middle head of the gastrocnemius. After removing all these boundaries and then automatically we can identify the contents of the popliteal fossa. What are the contents are there? Immediately we can identify the popliteal artery and popliteal vein. This popliteal artery is a continuation of the femoral artery, whereas the popliteal vein, it is a popliteal vein. It is formed by the, which is the continuation of the anterior and posterior tibial veins. There is a tibial nerve and common peroneal nerve. See, we can identify it already back of the thigh region, sciatic nerve. It is formed by the L3, L4, S1, S2, S3. This forms the root valleys and enter into the gluteal region. We can identify the bulk and thickest and longest nerve in the body, that is enter in the gluteal region just below the piriformis, then cross the quadratus femoris muscle, then it is enter into the back of the thigh region, then automatically it is enter into the apex of this popliteal fossa, that is a where is a enter into the popliteal fossa. It is divided into two parts, terminal, that is the tibial nerve and common peroneal nerve. Tibial nerve is compared to the common peroneal, it is thicker than the common peroneal. These two structures nerves we can also finding in the popliteal fossa contents. Next is the termination of the small saphenous vein. Small saphenous terminates and drains into the femoral, that is a popliteal vein. Posterior femoral cutaneous nerve, genicular branches and posterior division of the optic nerve also we can identify in the contents of the popliteal fossa. Popliteal lymph nodes, very small, we can identify it. And sometimes if any infection is there in the leg region and foot region, then these popliteal lymph nodes are enlarged, and also we can identify the floor region, pad of the fat also present the contents of the popliteal fossa. See here, we can also find it. This is sciatic nerve. This after reaching to the popliteal fossa, it is divided two parts. This is the common peroneal nerve. It crosses the neck of the fibula. This is the continuation is there. Tibial nerve. It is enter and separate the two heads of the gastrocnemius. This is a popliteal vein. Popliteal vein. See, this is a small saphenous vein. It is pierce the deep fascia and enter and drains into the popliteal vein. This is the popliteal artery. This is the continuation. Just above, if you enter into the adductor canal, it is called the femoral artery. But after entering into the popliteal fossa, the name is changed. That is the popliteal artery. So these are after remove this all structure, we can identify the pad of the fat and small lymph nodes also we are finding in the contents of the popliteal fossa. Next is the popliteal artery. How it is enter? Why? See, it is extends obliquely as continuation of the femoral artery. Already you are seeing that adductor canal, that is the adductor canal, femoral artery. It is enter into the adductor canal. Then it is passing crossly and middle surface of the femur. Then it open and pierce the. There is a fifth osteoponeurotic fascia, that is we are identifying the adductor magnus. See, adductor magnus muscle margin, we can identify the thick fascia and cover to the middle surface of this femur. We can identify the inverted U-shaped opening is there, that is called the osteoponeurotic opening, adductor magnus. Through this femoral artery, it is enter into the popliteal fossa. Then this artery divided into anterior and posterior tibial arteries. This anterior tibial artery, it is enter into the anterior compartment of the leg muscles and enter and cross the, that is extensor retinaculum. Then the name is changed, that is a dorsalis pedis artery. Whereas the posterior tibial artery, it is enter into the calf muscle, that is the two heads of the gastrocnemius, then it is enter into the deep and cross the flexor retinaculum, and it is enter into the plantar region as the artery name is changed. And plantar artery again divides into lateral and medial plantar arteries. Next is a popliteal vein. So this popliteal vein is the continuation of this dorsal venous arch, that is a anterior and posterior tibial veins continuation, and then it is form a popliteal vein in the popliteal fossa. Next to tibial nerve. This tibial nerve, it is vertically from the upper to the lower angles of the popliteal fossa. See, where the sciatic nerve is divided into common peroneal and tibial nerve. So this tibial nerve is continuation and cross the two heads of the gastrocnemius posteriorly we can identify. And here these three structures, popliteal vein, popliteal artery, popliteal, that is a tibial nerve. These three structures mainly we are identifying in the popliteal fossa, but above upper part, middle part and lower part, the arrangement of this neurovascular bundle is changed above, middle and lower. See here, when compared to here, we can identify the structures are different when compared to the middle region and the lower part. So upper part, we can identify artery, vein and nerve is there. Whereas the middle part, we can identify nerve is there posteriorly, middle is the vein is there. Here we can identify the anteriorly, we can identify the popliteal artery is there. Whereas here the lower part, we can identify nerves. Nerve is the lateral side, and the middle is the vein is there, and artery is the middle side is there. So the arrangement of the blood vessels, neurovascular bundle in the popliteal fossa, upper, middle, and lower part, the arrangement is different. Next, genucular anastomosis. What is genucular anastomosis? Genu means bending. The blood vessels, that is arteries are derived from the popliteal artery. This genucular branches given by the popliteal artery and gives the genucular branches four: superior medial genicular artery, superior lateral genicular artery, inferior lateral genicular, inferior medial genicular. These are the four genicular branches are going to anastomosing with the other arteries like a femoral and profundus femoris artery and recurrent the posterior tibial anterior tibial arteries. See this diagram. See here, here we can identify this is the popliteal artery. This popliteal artery giving, this is a superior medial genicular artery. This is superior lateral genicular artery. Here also here inferior medial genicular artery, the inferior lateral genicular artery. See these arteries are again divided like ascending and descending. See here also we can identify the ascending and descending branches. See this upper superior lateral, superior middle, these two genicular arteries going to anastomosing with the other arteries of the femoral. See here, descending genicular artery. It is the branch of the femoral artery. This give the two branches. These two branches going to anastomosing with this superior medial genicular artery, and this saphenous branch. It is going to anastomosing with the inferior medial genicular artery. Whereas here, the superior lateral genicular artery is going to anastomosing with the descending branch of the lateral circumflex femoral artery. Next, another branch is going to anastomosing with this. This is a branch from the inferior lateral genicular artery. It give it three branches. These three branches, two branches are descending. These two are going to anastomosing with the anterior and posterior recurrent branches, which are the branches from the anterior tibial artery. So this is anterior tibial artery, give it two branches recurrent, going to anastomosing with this, that is the inferior lateral genicular artery. So this is anastomosing around the knee joint, the blood supply of the knee joint region. So if anywhere, see if it is a clot is present here, this artery is going to supply. If any clot is there here, so automatically what happens? This other artery from the descending femoral artery or descending genicular artery going to anastomosing at this region. So more blood supply. Next, what is the function to know these genicular arteries? See, during the extreme flexion of the knee joint, the popliteal artery undergoes the kinking with eventual slugging of the blood flow. So when is the flexion? So automatically this popliteal artery compressing. So at this time, this compensating for such narrowing, copious blood flow is maintained by the collateral anastomosing around the knee joint. So if it is narrowing of the popliteal artery, other artery is going to supply to that particular area, which is the anastomosing around the knee joint region. See this, these are the anastomosing around the knee joint genicular branches. Next, TBL now. So TBL now mainly here the root value is L4, L5, S1, S2, and S3. That is the ventral ramia of the branches. These are the we are identified L4, L5, S1, sacral region, that is lumbosacral region, that is lumbosacral plexus. We can identify these are present in the pelvic cavity. After formation, unite together to form a, that is a sciatic nerve. It cross the that is a greater sciatic notch just below the piriformis muscle. Then it is enter into the gluteal region. It give a branches, gluteal branches. Then it is enter into the that is cross to the parietus femoris muscle and the greater trochanter. Then it is enter into the thigh region, just to hamstring muscles between. Next, it is enter into the popliteal fossa. Then popliteal fossa, in the popliteal fossa, this tibial now gives the branches like articular branches, muscular branches. See, muscular branches are here heads of the gastrocnemius, plantaris, soleus, and popliteal muscles. See, these are the we are identify the soleus, that is the calf muscles. Next, articular branches are this going to supplies to this, that is a knee joint and also hip joint, and also here the lower part, that is the ankle joint. So articular branches. Cutaneous branches are sural now, which pierce the deep fascia of the leg region and cross to the middle side and lateral side and going to supplies to the dorsum of the foot lateral two-third vascular branches. These vascular branches going to supplies to the popliteal vessels. See this is sciatic now. How it is below the piriform is it is enter and cross to this, then it is crossed to this. This is the biceps femoris muscle long head. Then it is below. We can identify this sciatic now. It give a branches to suppress the hamstring muscles, muscular branches. Then it is enter into the popliteal fossa. This continuation is there. It is divided into common peroneal. This is the tibial now. This tibial now it cross to enter into the cross the popliteal fossa between the lateral and middle head of the gastrocnemius. In the leg region, it give a muscular branches, gastrocnemius, soleus, plantaris muscles. So when it is crossed, and also this also cross the hip joint, it give a articular branch, knee joint crossing, articular branches. Next is the common peroneal. This is another branch. It is a terminal branch of this sciatic nerve. That is gives L4, L5, S1, S2, terminal branch of the sciatic nerve. It appears in the popliteal fossa. It crosses to the lateral side. That is the head, neck of the fibula, and going to supplies to this the compartment, peroneal compartment, peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, peroneus tertius. These are the muscles supplied by this common peroneal nerve. If any compressing here in the neck of the fibula, the compressing, so the dorsal foot drop may happen. We lost the dorsiflexion of the foot. This is the common peroneal nerve. It crosses the neck of the fibula and also lateral head of the gastrocnemius. This is the insertion of the biceps femoris just between this and enter into the lateral compartment of the leg, that is the peroneal compartment. Next, what is the clinical anatomy? See here, blood pressure. Sometimes we are taking the recording of the blood pressure from the popliteal artery, not only brachial artery. Here also we are taking, that is the popliteal artery. Then contraction of the aorta and foot drop. This is very important. Foot drop when compressing the common peroneal now can get injury. Deep peroneal now supplies to the dorsiflexors. Dorsiflexors, we lost the action of this dorsiflexion of the foot. That is called the foot drop when compressing the common peroneal now. Next, damage to the tibial now when cause the motor and sensory supplies to these calf muscles. Popliteal aneurysm is we are finding commonly. It is a more prone to the aneurysm than any other artery in the body. So clinically it presents the midline swelling in the popliteal fossa. So we are finding in the midline structure swelling that may leads to the popliteal aneurysm. Baker cyst. It is a cyst swelling which occur in the popliteal fossa due to inflammation of the synovial bursa under the, that is the semimembranous muscles. The tendon which is insertion medial posterior medial condyle of the tibia. There is a groove is there, semimembranous insertion. There we can identify the bursa. If an inflammation is there, that is called a Baker's cyst. Okay, thank you. We are expecting this is a long question sometimes. Draw the that is 7-mark question. Draw the diagram of the popliteal fossa. Name the contents. Short notes also sometimes the 3-mark question. Enumerate the contents of the popliteal fossa.